Johnny Sins lost $8 million in contracts in a single afternoon. But this wasn't an accident. Alexis Texas had been planning this nuclear strike for 8 months. The man who betrayed their business partnership was about to discover that stealing from a Texas woman comes with devastating consequences. This is the most brutal business revenge ever captured on video. What started as a $1 million production company became an all-out war. What began as trusted partnership ended with destroyed reputations and shattered careers. By the time you finish watching this, you'll see how one woman's patience and planning turned her betrayer's moment of triumph into his complete downfall. This isn't just business revenge. This is total career annihilation. The gleaming boardroom of Midnight Entertainment Studios fell into deadly silence as Alexis Texas walked through the doors, carrying a black briefcase that would end Johnny Sins' career. The emergency shareholder meeting had been called to celebrate Johnny's successful negotiation of their biggest contract ever, a $12 million exclusive deal with premium networks that would make him the highest-paid male performer in industry history. But as Alexis approached the conference table where Johnny sat surrounded by lawyers, agents, and studio executives, everyone could see the cold fury in her eyes. This wasn't a celebration. This was an execution. "Johnny," Alexis announced, her Texas drawl cutting through the room like a knife. "Before you sign that contract, I think these fine people should know exactly how you negotiated this deal. Especially since you forgot to mention one tiny detail. This was supposed to be our company's contract, not yours personally." The statement sent shockwaves through the assembled executives. Johnny's face went white as he realized his former business partner wasn't here to congratulate him. She was here to destroy him. But what happened next would become legendary in entertainment circles, as Alexis Texas unleashed 8 months of secretly recorded evidence that would expose Johnny Sins as a fraud, a thief, and a backstabbing snake who had been systematically stealing from their joint ventures while planning to eliminate her from their partnership. The betrayal had started 18 months earlier when Alexis and Johnny had formed Lone Star Productions, combining her business acumen with his industry connections to create what became one of the most successful independent studios in adult entertainment. Their partnership had generated over $3 million in revenue in their first year, with Alexis handling the financial management and strategic planning while Johnny managed talent relations and industry networking. Everything had been perfect until Johnny got greedy. The $12 million premium networks deal had originally been negotiated by their company together. Alexis had spent months developing the proposal, structuring the financial terms, and building the relationship with Premium's executives. The contract was supposed to establish Lone Star Productions as a major player in premium content creation, with both partners sharing equally in the massive profits. But 3 weeks before the contract signing, Johnny had secretly approached Premium Networks with a devastating lie. He told them that Alexis was planning to leave the industry and that her instability made her an unreliable business partner. He provided fabricated evidence of financial mismanagement and claimed that she was threatening to sabotage their projects if she didn't receive a larger share of profits. Most damagingly, he convinced Premium Networks that signing with him individually rather than their joint company would be safer and more professional. The $12 million deal that was supposed to belong to Lone Star Productions suddenly became Johnny's personal contract, cutting Alexis out of the biggest opportunity of their careers. But Johnny had made a fatal mistake. He had underestimated exactly how smart and vengeful a betrayed Texas businesswoman could be. "Ladies and gentlemen," Alexis announced to the shocked boardroom, "I have some recordings that I think you'll find very educational about Mr. Sins' business practices." She opened her briefcase and pulled out a tablet connected to the room's audio system. This is a conversation where Johnny admits to Premium Networks executives that he deliberately sabotaged our company's negotiations to steal the contract for himself. The audio began playing, filling the room with Johnny's voice clearly describing his strategy for eliminating Alexis from their partnership. The Premium Networks executives in attendance listened in horror as their new star performer bragged about deceiving them and manipulating contract negotiations. "That recording is taken out of context," Johnny stammered, but Alexis was just getting started. "Really? Let's hear some context then," she replied, playing another recording. This is Johnny explaining to his agent how he's been secretly negotiating individual deals behind my back for the past 6 months, violating our partnership agreement and stealing opportunities that belong to our joint company. The second recording was even more damaging, with Johnny clearly outlining his plan to gradually eliminate Alexis from their business ventures while keeping all the profits for himself. But the Real nuclear bomb was still coming. "Now here's my personal favorite," Alexis continued, her voice dripping with satisfaction. "This is Johnny talking to his lawyer about how he plans to claim that I was never really a business partner, just an assistant who helped with paperwork. He discusses forging documents to support this claim and suggests that my adult industry background makes me unsuitable for legitimate business partnerships." The final recording was devastating. Johnny's voice filled the room as he outlined his plan to completely rewrite the history of their partnership, stealing credit for all of Alexis's work while portraying her as an incompetent assistant who had contributed nothing of value. The premium network's executives looked sick as they realized they had been completely manipulated. The studio lawyers were frantically taking notes about potential legal liability. Johnny's agent was already calculating how to distance himself from the unfolding disaster. "Johnny," Alexis said with deadly calm, "you forgot that I'm not just a pretty face from Texas. I have a business degree from UT Austin, and I've been recording every single one of our business conversations for the past year because I suspected you were planning something like this." She pulled out another stack of documents. "I also have copies of all the financial records you tried to hide, proving that you've been stealing money from our joint accounts to fund your personal projects. You've embezzled over $400,000 from Lone Star Productions while telling me our cash flow was tight." The room erupted in shocked whispers as the full scope of Johnny's deception became clear. This wasn't just contract manipulation. It was systematic fraud and embezzlement. But Alexis wasn't finished destroying her former partner. "The really beautiful part," she continued, "is that while Johnny was busy planning to steal our premium networks deal, I was building relationships with their competitors. I'd like everyone to meet Sarah Chun from Platinum Streaming Services." A woman in an expensive suit stood up from the back of the room. "Ms. Texas has just signed an exclusive $15 million deal with Platinum Streaming," Sarah announced. "We're very excited to partner with someone who has demonstrated such integrity and business acumen." Johnny's face turned purple as he realized that not only had his deception been exposed, but his former partner had secured an even bigger deal with Premium's main competitor. "Wait, there's more," Alexis said with a smile that could freeze hell. "I've also filed complaints with the Better Business Bureau, the California Attorney General's office, and the IRS about Johnny's business practices. Federal investigators are very interested in his pattern of fraud and tax evasion." The coup de grace was devastating in its simplicity. Johnny had spent months planning to destroy Alexis's reputation and steal her business opportunities. Instead, she had turned his own deception against him, secured a bigger deal for herself, and exposed him as a criminal who would likely face federal prosecution. "Johnny," Alexis said as federal agents entered the boardroom, "next time you try to screw over a business partner, make sure she's not smarter than you are, and maybe don't document your crimes in recorded conversations." As Johnny Sins was led away in handcuffs, his $12 million contract was canceled, his agent dropped him, and his reputation was destroyed forever. Meanwhile, Alexis Texas had not only survived his betrayal but had emerged stronger, richer, and more respected than ever. The revenge had been perfect because it was built on truth, executed with precision, and delivered with the kind of Texas justice that left no room for mercy. Within 24 hours of what entertainment media dubbed the boardroom betrayal, Johnny Sins had lost every contract, endorsement deal, and business opportunity he had worked years to build. The recordings Alexis released went viral, making him a cautionary tale about the consequences of betraying business partners. Premium Networks issued a public apology to Alexis and offered her Johnny's canceled contract, but she declined, preferring her superior deal with Platinum Streaming. Her reputation as a savvy businesswoman was cemented, while Johnny became known as an untrustworthy fraud who couldn't be relied upon for any professional ventures. The moral of the story was clear. Never underestimate a Texas woman with a business degree and a talent for patience. Johnny had learned that lesson the hardest way possible, by losing everything he had worked to achieve in a single afternoon of devastating revenge. Thank you for watching this incredible story of business betrayal and perfect revenge. If you found this tale of justice and karma satisfying, please hit the like button and subscribe for more shocking stories of how betrayers become the betrayed.